This is mustard seed, and in today's video we're going to show you how to grow your own mustard, how to thresh it, how to winnow it, and then how to turn it into a jar of homegrown, homemade, self-sufficient mustard. Hello, Happy New Year and welcome to English Country Life. Welcome to the workshop and welcome to Self-Sufficient Mustard. Now our place is in Lincolnshire, and Lincolnshire is a flat part of England, kind of marshy almost, known as the Fens, and Norfolk, which is a very short distance that way, another county, but the other side of a big body of water known as the Wash, like almost a massive estuary, is also the home of Coleman's mustard, which was the most famous of the English mustard brands. Lincolnshire folk are known as yellow bellies, and one of the theories of why they're called yellow bellies is years ago the sheep used to graze in amongst the mustard fields, and they would rub all the pollen from the mustard flowers off on their bellies, hence yellow bellies. Anyway, mustard growing, mustard producing is something that can be done on a human scale, on a small holder scale. And we filmed ourselves doing that over about the last 9 months. So today we want to share that with you. What we have here are 50 modules and a jar of reasonably fresh brown mustard seed. Same brown mustard seed that's used in many curry recipes, can be bought online or from your local supermarket or from your local ethnic supermarket. And all we're going to do is sow thinly, and it has to be thin. And I hope you can see these little tiny seeds going in. You don't want to put dozens in every module because you'll be thinning them out no end. Mustard plants are actually very large, as you will see, and you know, if you put hundreds and hundreds of these seeds in, you will over sow your modules. Now what I'm going to do now is thinly scatter some potting compost on top of that and pop these into a heated propagator until they germinate. I'm doing this on the 30th of March and we can watch their progress. Mustard sprouts fast, so after even a few days in a heated propagator you'll get something like this. It's a good time to thin them out so you've only got 1 or 2 plants per module, because they will grow fast. You know, the reason kids grow mustard and cress is quick results. The mustard plants will amaze you with how big they get, and you'll see that a little bit later. But for now, once you've got them to this stage, thin them up, keep them covered for a while, let them establish. It's a beautiful sunny day, last week of April, although the wind is howling quite a bit, so we're in the greenhouse. Apology if you hear the wind noise buffeting us. And here is our mustard. Doing very nicely. Probably got as far as it's going to go in these modules. The roots are showing out the bottom. It's a little bit early for me yet to plant it out into raised beds. So we're going to put these into 3-inch pots, 9 centimetre pots, and let them grow on just a little bit longer. And there we have them. We've done 48 plants into 3-inch pots, and we have plenty more just in case for any reason they fail. And through the miracle of time travel, we'll see you shortly when they've grown on a bit. It's almost exactly the middle of May, and we've planted out the mustard. Some of it's already bolted a little and started to flower, but that's fine. It'll still make seed. Generally, you're looking for about 18 inches each side of every plant, and if you stagger your rows, you can do that a little bit more space efficiently. Mustard flowers are typical of their family and yellow and quite delicate in shape. Not unlike other brassicas when you see them left run to flower. They will get more and more, and each flower will produce us a decent amount, a surprisingly large amount of mustard seed in a pod. This is the mustard that we planted earlier in the year. As you can see, it's probably 18 inches, 2 foot tall now, and it's just starting to form some seed pods. It's still flowering, so there will be more. Forgive the Crocodile Dundee Tribute Act, it's roasting out here. It's the 3rd of August, but given the weather, shady hat, shades, long sleeves, sun cream. The mustard's turning brown and the pods are swelling. It's time to harvest it. Let me bring you in close, you can have a good look. We'll show you how you tell that it's right, and we'll show you how to harvest. Before we do that, wave to Fiona, who's harvesting all the raspberries. This is how the pods look right now. You can see they've gone a sort of brown, dry colour, and in each pod you can see little bumps which show you where the mustard seeds are. This is an individual pod and it burst just as I picked it off the plant. And it shows you how ripe they are, and if we don't get them in quickly we'll lose these because they'll start spreading the seed on the ground. And you can see inside that the individual seeds are ready to just pop out of their pods, so we need to get on with this. The harvesting method for this mustard is really simple. What I want to do is pull up each plant, hang it upside down in a clean, sterile container, simply let the seeds drop free. So you grab it at the base and they lift out very easily. A little shake to get rid of the soil, and that's it. Next I cut off the root ball. The main reason for that is if I don't, as the soil on the root ball dries out, the soil will drop in amongst the seeds that we're harvesting. So, pair of secateurs, just cut off the roots. They'll go in the composter. Once I've lifted each plant, I trim off the root ball and stand it upside down in a sterile white bucket. These are big buckets, they're 5 gallon size. And as it dries, each of the seed pods will open and drop the mustard seed into the bottom of the bucket. If you don't have 5 gallon buckets, just find anything else that's clean and you can hang your seeds over. We often use these garden trugs. They need a good wash first, but they're absolutely fine for the purpose. That's the mustard harvest from 75 square feet of raised beds. We'll pop those in the dry in the workshop, let them dry out fully and rattle them around a bit to make sure that all the seeds drop to the bottom of their buckets. These are the dried mustard seed pods. Some of them have already opened up and naturally shed their seed, but others have dried with the mustard seeds still inside. But if I give them a gentle press, you can see those little seeds come falling out, and the pod almost always splits in half. And what we have there is our mustard seed. Now we have to do that obviously on a large scale to get enough mustard for a jar or a few jars of mustard. So let's show how we do it. This is our dried mustard plants. As you can see, we've stored them upside down in large buckets and trugs. And that way any of the seed that falls from the plants as they dry is captured. The first process we need to go through to get the mustard seed off the plants and available to use is called threshing. And that's a crude process of basically breaking open the seed pods, getting the seed to spill. If you're doing this in quantity, do it on a clean sheet with a flail, a big jointed stick, and beat the mustard plants until the seed falls. In smaller ways, 5 gallon white bucket, pick up each plant individually and you're banging it against the sides. If you look in there, you can already see a lot of black mustard seed and some chaff. Chaff is little bits of the plant, mainly seed pod. Now you do need to inspect each plant and you need to find out whether you've got all the seed. If you haven't, give it another bang. This one, for example, you can see there's still seeds in it. So I'll give that one another good thresh. After all our efforts, this is what we've got. Third to half a 5-gallon bucket full of mixed chaff and seed. The chaff is this stuff. It's seed pods, little bits of flower stem, etc. The seed, the small black things you saw earlier. Now the seed will generally fall towards the bottom. It's denser and smaller. So you can, to some extent, separate it just by picking out the chaff. The traditional way of separating is winnowing. And that's tossing all of this up in a wind. The lighter chaff will blow away, the denser seed will fall back. We'll show you that later. But another useful technique is screening. And if you get a mesh that is just a little bit larger hold than the seeds, and put this stuff on top, the seeds fall through and most of the chaff doesn't. This is what I use as a mesh. It's actually the floor of a beehive called a varroa floor. But just a coarse sieve or any reasonably fine mesh will work just as well. After we've taken out most of the chaff and screened it, this is what's left at the bottom of the bucket. Almost all seed, and as we said before, the seed generally sinks to the bottom. And with a tray or a bucket, you can shake things around and almost entirely separate seed from chaff. Traditionally, in the peasant economy, winnowing baskets were used for the next task, which is winnowing out the remaining chaff. It was done on a windy day. The baskets were wide, 2 hands to hold them, and you would toss the seed and the chaff up in the air, and what would happen is the chaff would blow away, the seed being denser would drop back in the basket. We're going to show that technique using a wok and a fan. And there we have it, a big jar of black mustard seed. Perfect for making mustard, perfect for Indian cookery, for spicing vinegar, for all sorts of other purposes. Now, you may hear people talk about brown mustard seed or black mustard seed. It's the same thing. In an individual pod, you'll get both black and brown seeds. It's just a slight colour variation. But there is a second sort. Yellow mustard seed, also known weirdly on some occasions as white mustard seed. Grows perfectly well in the UK, and we've grown both. What I would say though is grow them in different years. If you grow black mustard seed next to yellow mustard seed, won't be a problem the first year. But any seeds you replant are likely to be hybrids, and you won't get that wonderful colour clarity. But you can grow black mustard seed, keep a jar of it, a couple of years time plant it again, and then on the alternate years grow your yellow mustard seed if you're a small operation like us. I think that's enough for today. In the next episode, I'll show you how to make wonderful mustards from your mustard seed. We'll probably cover English mustard, that yellow, fiery, spicy kind of mustard. Whole grain mustard, my personal favourite. And if I get a bit of time, I'll even cover the American style hot dog mustard. That's nice too, actually, to be honest. On a frankfurter, there's nothing better than that stuff. If you're enjoying this kind of content, can you spare us 5 seconds? Just give us a thumbs up down below. If you find the time to leave us a comment, that would be brilliant. It makes such a difference to the channel. Anyway, have a wonderful, happy new year, and whatever you do, come back and see us soon. Take care.